And then we never feel good enough. And I think because there's always some out there, there's always this theory that it's becoming, and as long as we're becoming, we're never good enough. We're never there. We've still got issues to resolve,
Mm-hmm.
issues to resolve. But this is so precious, this moment, because we're not guaranteed tomorrow. We're just not. And this is all we have. This is all we're guaranteed. We're not even guaranteed this, really, but it's so fleeting and it's so impermanent and it's so fragile, and just the gratitude. I think we move so far away from that simplicity, that gratitude that this is happening at all. This is happening at all, no matter.
Right.
And then we can start talking about why it's happening and how it's happening, the theories, and no one really knows. I mean, ultimately, no one bloody knows.
Right.
If any of us are really on it, I don't know. And it's like, here anyway, that's enough.
Yeah.
It's enough. It's the I don't know, and to fall into that not knowing, and somehow in that not knowing, life doesn't cease. It just unfolds out of that, and then, all the teachers in the world can tell you who you should be and what you should be feeling and what you should be thinking, what you should be experiencing, but what's wrong with this experience? What's happening here? And of course, if you feel that you could improve, want to improve, then there's a million teachers out there who will teach that game of becoming. But over here anyway, at some point, it's just seemed that when's it going to end? It's like,
I know.
Why do we even need teachers? It's like, what are we frightened of? What are we frightened of? Why do we need someone else to some second-hand information, some second-hand knowledge, and then we regurgitate it? We keep on regurgitating what we've heard. As newborn babies, we didn't know anything. There's an openness. There's a spontaneity. There's a wonder. There's a wonder at life as it is, and somehow as adults, we become so heavy and lost in this complicated world of theories and knowledge and becoming experts. And at some point, it's like, I don't want to be a second-hand person. I don't. What do they know? Why do I want to be like them? Those teachers. Why? What's wrong with this? What's wrong with sitting on a couch? Sitting on a sofa, breathing and sensations in the body happening, and because this is all there is. This is so precious. It's so precious. It's so precious. It's absolutely not a rejection of any of those theories at all, but just all I can say is that over here, they didn't do anything. They just, there's always this sense of incompleteness. So somehow, when it's like in the falling away of that the search for the completeness was somehow creating the sense of incompleteness, because it's like we've been told that we should be something other than what we are, which makes what we are into a problem, which fuels the sense that we want to escape from it. It's this vicious circle. And
what about dysfunction? What about dysfunction?
As long as there's the belief here that there's someone who needs to heal, then there's a million therapists and teachers out there who will meet you and help you in that dream world of being a person. And then
right.
Once you're healed, say finally you do become fully healed. What does that even mean?
I don't know. You no longer check to see if the door's locked all the time. Maybe you can go out. Maybe you're not an agoraphobic anymore or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but you're still left as a separate person.
That's true.
There's still that's behind the whole thing. Even if you're the happiest person in the world, you're a separate person. So that's where becoming and psychology and healing can't go. They can't touch that.
They can't touch that.
No, they can't touch that. And ultimately, why isn't this enough? That's what it all comes down to. For me, anyway, is what's wrong with this? Because this is all you have. And somehow the seeing of that, it starts to burn up all of that crap. Because all that crap, if there is any crap, it's just allowed to come to the surface, and there's no one there trying to turn it into anything. There's no one there even
shoving it down,
or even trying to transmute it into something else.
Right.
It's just allowed. It's just allowed, not to get anywhere, not to become a happier person or a better person.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow in that, it just starts to burn up because it's not being used to give me an identity. You know, we even cling to our suffering. I mean, there's no question. We even cling to our suffering in order to get an identity. You know, if we can't succeed in the world, at least we can succeed at being a failure, or being someone, being a victim.
The best failure that ever was, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this, you know, always becoming,
Right.
and always trying to become something perfect, because the teachers have told us, and we believe them.
Where do you place purification in that whole thing? You know,
What would you do with it once you had the purification? You'd still be sitting on a couch. You'd be sitting on a sofa. You'd be sitting on a sofa, believing that you were purified, believing there was a separate person here who was purified. Well, you know, I used to believe that I was awakened. Of course, there was a separate person there. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So it all rests on the separate person. Even if you reach this point of absolute purification,
Right.
you'd be sitting here on a sofa, believing that there was a person here who was pure. Or, you know, because you'd have to know something. You'd have to know about purification and know that in order to know that you were purified, you have to
Right.
project everyone else in the world who wasn't. So there's the separation. There's a purity here that the individual looking for it could never see, because they're trying to grasp that purity for themselves, and they want to own that purity. It's like trying to grasp freedom. It's like they spend our lives looking for freedom
When you are freedom.
when this is and it's already arising in freedom. But somehow there is a seeing of that. You know,
Yeah.
somehow I wouldn't be sitting here, you know, if something hadn't been seen.
Right.
So there is some sort of seeing. There is a seeing of this, and then we start to talk about what that seeing is, and then we might make it into a goal, and we start to talk about how to see it.
Hang on to the seeing.
Everything becomes something for me to get, you know. But undoubtedly there is some shift that happens. There is some seeing that happens. Otherwise we wouldn't be talking about, you know, otherwise we wouldn't be sitting here talking about this. But after a lifetime of seeking and suffering and teachings, you're left sitting on a couch, you know, and that's the miracle. That's the death. If there's any death, that's the death, you know.
The death of seeking into the future for some fulfillment. That's,
and to the mind, it's a massive disappointment. Absolute failure. It's the failure. Failure to get what I wanted. For me, you know, I never got what I wanted.
right.
Ever.
Right.
Ever. Failed miserably. Jeff failed miserably.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it, though. It's like, in that absolute failure, it's given.
Yeah.
In that absolute failure, you're given what you need, and like in this moment, it's sitting on a sofa. If anything was seen, it was that Jeff was just a story. He was a thought. So Jeff couldn't do anything. He couldn't attain anything because a thought can't attain anything.
Right. Right.
And that was the seeing, but that's always been the story of Jeff has always played out in this. This is the seeing that has seen the whole universe play itself out, and it's seeing. So even to say I've seen, as if it was something,
story.
It's another story.
Right.
You find yourself back where you always were. It's just seen somehow differently, maybe, or it's seen the same as it always was seen. There's no way of knowing.
Your beloved calls you here today to ask you for this dance. What will you say?